Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, guys. So I am aware, or at least I think, I don't know if you guys can see it, the camera is tilted. I'm not rearranging it. I've done it 1,000 times. It's gonna stay like that. So if you can see it like that, I'm very sorry. Um, but I actually was on my way out and my daughter ended up sleeping, so I figured whatever, why not make a video of something that kind of affected me a little bit since last night. I might know, I didn't even give it like 24 hours, but it's just been on my mind, very heavy. By the way, thank you to those that reached out in regards to the Halloween video. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for your love and for your support and for all of the commentary that you guys have made and messaging me on Instagram and Snapchat. You guys are awesome. I love you. And if you haven't seen the video, make sure you do. But however, let's get back to the topic of this video. I remember when I was in the process of getting married, I was praying and I was telling God all of the intentions, all of the desires I wanted in my marriage, and once I was to start my family, and how pure all of those intentions were, and how naive I was to think that those things were going to be easy. It's not at all easy. For those that know, I do go to church. I am Christian. My church is called Heavenly Vision Christian Center in the Bronx, 2068 Jerome Avenue. Make sure you go if you can. But anyway, I remember how easy I thought life was going to be once I got married, and how easier I thought it was going to be once I had a child. I legit thought that I had everything down packed, and I'm not even going to lie, I really did think this. Like, and everyone told me, like, it's not easy, and I thought, you know, because I have so much experience under my belt, I'm fine, I'll be fine. I grew up in the ministry, my mother, you know, I was going everywhere with her. It wasn't that serious. No. The minute that I came out pregnant, I knew that I didn't want my daughter to have the same upbringing as I did. And by that I mean I didn't want, and by no means am I saying my mom is a bad mom, because my mother is a wonderful mother. My mother gave her all for her kids. So I love my mom. However, my mother dedicated her whole entire life to church. You know, I was the baby in the car seat with her, or the stroller, while she was giving cell group, or I was the little girl running around in the church with her other church friends while there was a visual going on. You know, I was the little girl always in Sunday school while there was service for the adults. You know, I was that child. I was a child that wasn't allowed to celebrate Halloween because it was the devil's holiday. I was that child. I was the child that had, you know, was brought up with kind of a religious mentality. And again, I'm not saying my mom was a bad mom, but that is what she was taught, you know. So whatever she was taught, she taught to me. I just thank God that, you know, once you have that personal relationship with Christ, you know that things are a whole lot different than what man teaches you. But anywho, when I came out pregnant, I knew that I didn't want that life for my daughter. I didn't want to just have my whole life be around church, pleasing man, church, pleasing the pastors, church. No, I wanted my life to please God. I wanted my life to scream that I know who Jesus is, and I want my life to, you know, show my daughter that God is a relationship and not something that you have to fear, in the sense of, oh my God, if I don't do this the right way, I'm going to hell. No. Anywho, Those that know I had a really bad pregnancy. Like, my pregnancy was really rough. I ended up not working anymore for a while. I stopped going to church because I was that sick. I was always in the hospital, whatever. But whenever I could go to church, my husband and I, we made our best efforts to go. Um, During my last trimester, we stopped going all entirely because it was just too hot. I was huge. It was just so uncomfortable, and the baby was really, really, really low. And my doctors were stripping my membrane so I could go at any minute because I was already dilating so early. So it was just a hot mess. So we just stopped going. But once the baby was born, that was when we really stopped. Like, we wouldn't even answer in the youth coordinators chat, which we are part of. We are part of the executive youth coordinators in our church, meaning we are part of a group of youth that is in charge of the youth, is in charge of the services, is in charge of the events, is in charge of the church retreats and all these things. So we just stopped responding. We didn't go to any of the meetings. We just didn't even care anymore. A lot of things changed. A lot of things happened. We got extremely discouraged. I know I got extremely discouraged. By no means necessary am I saying that I stopped praying, I stopped reading the Bible. No, it all revolved around the church. My views and everything was on the church. So I've been trying my absolute hardest to get back into the swing of things when it comes to church, when it comes to the ministry. And it has been so difficult. Like, so difficult. I refuse to be part of those people, that get married, have a baby, and just bounce and dip and leave and do their own thing and end up, abandoning their calling. I guess that's something that I can say. But I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to do that. I know that I didn't want to abandon my calling, but yesterday was my first time back on the pulpit, doing the announcements. So it was really, really small. It wasn't nothing big. I wasn't preaching. I wasn't doing the offering. I wasn't giving the word. I wasn't doing anything. Wasn't singing. I wasn't dancing. I wasn't doing any of those things. I was just giving the announcements. And the minute I stepped on that stage, oh my gosh, I wanted to run. I wanted to run. I felt so out of place. And my friend, she's like, go, like, he's telling you to pick up the mic. And I'm like, wait, what? But they're like, in my mind, like, I can hear myself, like, making all these stupid excuses, like, and then when I picked up that mic to say the smallest thing, oh, like, I was just such an overwhelming feeling. Just like a wave of, I don't even know, like, just everything negative. Like, I felt so bad. Like, that's like the word that I can use, is that I just felt so bad. I felt so out of place. I felt like I didn't belong anymore. I felt horrible. I don't even know. Like, it was just not a great feeling. I felt like even with doing the announcements, I have some way failed the ministry. I failed my team. I failed the church. I failed God. I failed myself. And that was not the best feeling ever. That was not the best feeling at all. I felt really bad. Like I said, the girl that was praying before her marriage even started about how she wanted her marriage to go. Yo, that girl is feeling so bad right now. Feeling like she failed. And I remember being in my car, and I left church early. I did the announcements and I left because my husband is always working. My husband works his ass off, to provide for this family. And there's days where he just doesn't eat at all. And I feel bad because, you know, he'll be up early. He'll be up at 5 o'clock in the morning to come home at 3 o'clock in the morning doing his job because bills need to be paid. And it's really difficult. But yesterday he wasn't with me. I was by myself. Like, he went to church just to see us for like 5 minutes, and then he left because he had to go eat, and then he had to do another stop. So, oh, be right back. My baby woke up. Sorry guys, my daughter woke up, so I had to feed her. But anyway, yeah, I felt really bad. My husband wasn't with me. I left early. Right after the announcements, I had to leave because I was by myself with the baby, and I didn't want to walk outside, you know, to park my car far, and then to walk to my house. I didn't want to do that by myself so late, so I left right after the announcements. And on my way home, I remember just crying and, you know, asking God, like, to forgive me. And asking him to tell me, like, why did I feel the way that I feel? It's not like, you know, I was out there sinning. Like, I was doing something wrong. Like, I felt really bad. You know? And I just remember feeling like he was telling me, you know, you kind of abandoned your calling. You know, I called you for something so great. You asked me to give you strength for your family to carry out the mission I created you guys for, I united you guys for, and you kind of abandoned it. But remember that I love you. Remember that no matter what, my grace is upon you, and don't ever feel shame or guilt for caring for the blessing that I have given you. And I remember, I just cried. Like, I'm holding my daughter. I don't want to cry right now. But I cried because it was just like, damn, how true is that? You know? Children are a blessing. A big blessing. Like, I cannot imagine my life without my daughter. I can't. You know, she has been the biggest joy in our family. And the fact that I felt like I was failing God because I was putting my daughter first is like, what? We are, all of us mothers, one day, we're gonna see God face to face. And he's gonna ask us, what did you do with the blessing that I gave you? And I want to be able to say, you know, I did all that you asked me to do. I tried to do all that you asked me to do. I don't want to sit there and say, you know, I didn't do anything with it. I just stopped going to church and I raised her the way, you know, whatever. No, I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to feel like, you know, I can't go to church or I can't do anything because my daughter just took over my whole entire life. Which, yeah, she did. But at the same time, it's like, your family is your first ministry. Your family is your first ministry. And as bad as this is going to sound, I see so many, not all, but I see a lot of pastoral kids that are kind of pushed to the side because their parents are busy being pastors and fathers and mothers to everyone else rather than to their own children. And I refuse to do that. I refuse to tell my daughter, not right now because I have to go pray at this person's house, or not right now because I have to prepare my sermon. No. Absolutely not. I refuse. I refuse to give my child once a month or once a year or once every other month. No. I refuse. And I'm so glad that I've prayed that prayer on my way home. and felt what I felt as I was praying, as I was crying out to God. I'm so happy that I was reminded of His grace. And when I'm weak, He's strong. And when I don't know anything or I don't know how to handle a situation, God's wisdom surpasses all of my understanding. And I guess this video is to you, mom. It's to you, women with children. Women with children that are in the ministry. Women with children that have a calling. Women with children in the church. Remember that your kids are a blessing. Remember that no matter what, you don't have to feel guilty for putting your kids first. Ever. Before church. Meaning, your order should be God, your family. Your order should not be church, God, then your family. No, the order should be God, your family, your household, and then the gift, the ministry that God gave you. Because what good is it to pray for someone but not pray for your own family or not pray for your own children? What good is it to pray in the church but you don't pray with your kids? What good is it? Yeah, it's just so much like just don't forget ever what's important. Yes, you are to carry out the works. Yes, you are to fulfill the calling that God has placed over your life. But don't ever think that you have to abandon your family to fulfill that calling. Don't. Because what good is it to save the world when you can't even save your family? What good is it to save someone when your own household is crumbling to pieces? How are you going to tell someone, or give someone godly advice when your household is falling apart or your children are being lost? Don't ever feel guilty. Don't ever feel like you're not doing enough. Because I remember when I came home, I texted one of the coordinators, my friend, and I told her I felt so out of place up there. And she was like, it's baby steps. Remember, the little things you do is a big deal to God. Is a big deal in the kingdom. And I thank God so much for her and so much for her heart and for her wisdom, because I needed to hear that. The littlest thing I did with doing the announcements, even if I felt like I was failing, was something so big to God. I don't even know why I'm getting emotional about this. Like, this is crazy. But, yeah. Kaylee and I will go on dates. We will have family time. And we will give her an upbringing that sadly I didn't have. I will go on mother-daughter dates with my child. And I will give my daughter the best. And I will give her all of me. And I will teach her that God is a relationship and not a religion. I will teach her that above all, before me, God loves her the most. And she's not called to be perfect. She's by no way is called to be perfect. Right? She's called to love God. And to acknowledge who Jesus Christ is. And it's through me and my relationship in Christ that she would get to truly know who He is. So, like I said, for any mom out there who may be feeling the way I feel, may be feeling like she abandoned her calling, or she feels like she's not giving enough in church, or she feels as though people in church are treating her less than because she's not doing enough, you're not here to please man, you're here to please God. You're not here to fulfill the calling that man placed upon your life, because man has a tendency of doing that. You're here to fulfill the calling. Sorry, she burped. You're here to fulfill the calling and the purpose that God has over your life. And the only person you have to pay account to is God. The only person that you have to live for is God. And that's it. I love you guys so much. I thank you for your support. I thank you for taking the time out to see these videos and to hear me rant. You guys are amazing. I love you guys. God bless.